Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a little different setup today, and I hope that the lighting and camera quality is much better than it's been. I switched things around, so let me know what you think. So if you see me looking up a little bit, I'm sorry. I have a mirror propped up behind my camera. Long story, but I'm trying to make the best possible videos for you guys. So today's video is a little different than what I'm usually doing. It's not a beauty related video or anything like that. This video is all about C-sections. I'm gonna be talking about like my personal experience, and I know everybody's experience is probably a little different. So if you're like me, you're probably researching all about it on YouTube and Google and things like that, because I had to look it up before I had my first C-section, because I just needed to know like what I was in for. So if you're like me and that's why you're here, I get what you're doing. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go over some things that some people probably don't know when they're going into it or anything like that. So I hope this helps. All right, so basically the day you're getting your C-section, if you don't have an IV hooked up already, which I did because they tried to put me in labor the day before, you're basically going to be dressed in a gown. You're going to get an IV hooked up to you. You're going to have your little cap on, and you're going to go into the operating room. Okay, so the operating room is kind of cold. People say they have experiences where they're like shivering. I didn't shake or anything like that, but it's a little cold in there. You're wearing a gown with nothing under it, nothing at all. So now they sit you on the table, and they're gonna give you your epidural or whatever that that you're gonna need. So they basically just gave me my epidural, which I was nervous about, but it really was nothing but a little pinch, you guys. Like, it really was nothing. So it works really fast, and as soon as they give that to you, like within not even a minute, like you're numb from waist down. So they're gonna take you and they're going to lay you down on the table, and from there you can't even feel your legs. So they're going to be lifting your legs and putting them on the table for you. So you're going to lay down, and you're already numb, so don't worry about it. They're going to insert a catheter into your bladder, because you're not going to be able to pee or anything like that. So they put a catheter in you, and I was nervous about that too, but again, you're numb, don't worry, you don't even know what's going on. And all your shame is out the window. If this is your first child, don't be shy, because there's going to be a lot of people in the operating room. Men, women, I mean, there's just going to be people all over the place. Lots of tools and lights. Like, don't get freaked out. It's not as bad as it looks, I guess. It's just overwhelming. So they're going to lay you down, and they're going to like put your legs all the way up here, put a catheter in. You're not going to feel it. And your gown is going to be lifted up. You're just going to be all open. Everybody's going to see what you own. So then they're going to, then they put the iodine solution all over your stomach. Sometimes they might need to shave your stomach just to get you ready. And then they're going to prep you. Your arms are going to be like this. So not only do you not feel from the waist down, but you're laying down like this, and you can't move. So I think my IV was in my right arm. And they might have had like a blood pressure cuff on the left arm. They want to monitor your blood pressure too. So you're going to be like this, and then they're going to put oxygen in your nose. So if you're already kind of cold, the oxygen makes you a little bit more cold too. So plus your gown is lifted up, so you're just all out in the cold operating room. So now you're laying like that, and then they take the sheet, the little blue sheet, and they put it here, so you can't see anything unless you want to, but they put it here. So I was like patiently waiting for my husband to come in, because I was so nervous, so I think right before he came in, the anesthesiologist said to me, "Oh, are you feeling nauseous or anything from the epidural?" And I was like, "No." And literally as soon as I said no, I got nauseous. So he gave me the little thing, and I was hoping I didn't throw up, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm going to give you something in your IV." Within a second, he put something in my IV, and the nauseousness completely went away. Because it's this horrible feeling when you're strapped down, you can't even move and you're nauseous, but it went right away. So that was great. So now right after that, my husband came in, and they're gonna have the gear on too. They have the hat, they have the mask, everything has to be sanitary. So he's gonna be in like scrubs and all that stuff. So he came over, he held my hand, and it made me feel super calm knowing that he was there. Then the doctor came in. So that made me feel good too, knowing like my doctor was there. So everybody's scurrying around, getting the tools, getting everything ready, and you're just patiently waiting. So they're gonna tell you, okay, we're gonna start now, or whatever. So you're not going to feel any pain. You shouldn't feel any pain. You're not going to, but you are going to feel things. People say you don't feel anything. You feel things, okay? For me, I knew when they started to cut because it felt like vibrating, or like almost like a zipper opening. That's exactly what it felt like to me. Something unzipping. Again, no pain. So I knew they were in there. You feel moving around, some tugging and things like that, pushing things around. Nothing too crazy at the beginning. Again, I was talking to my husband and just trying to stay like focused because I was nervous. And I was just staring at the huge, light over my head. And I was looking at the clock, and I remember it said 4:05 when they started, and by 4:25 my daughter came out. So it's really not a long process. So yeah, so they're doing their thing, this and that, and you're just wondering like how close they are to seeing the baby. And I knew they were close because I heard him say, "Oh, clear fluid." Like I knew they were in the little area with the sac or whatever it's called. And I heard the anesthesiologist say to me, he's like, "Oh, now that's a cute little face." And I knew they were there. They saw her. I started crying automatically. And then when they're ready to take the baby out, they tell you, "Okay, get ready. You're gonna feel some pressure," which, I mean, pressure is like an understatement. I mean, it's you feel them pushing down on your stomach really hard, like you're gonna lose your breath. Again, no pain, but you feel a lot of pushing and tugging, like your body's going like this because they're so rough, like getting the baby out. You're gonna feel a lot of pulling and tugging and pressing and just pressure on you, like an elephant is kind of sitting on you. It's a lot of pressure. But shortly after that, you feel like lifting up. You feel something lifted up, and then I heard the baby cry, and it was the best experience ever. I cried my eyes out. It was just magical. It really, really was. And then they take the baby over, they clean them up, they weigh them, they suction, the fluid out of their throat and stuff like that. And they swaddle them in a blanket. My husband went over and he obviously saw her first. I was just looking. I saw her from a distance. He got to walk over and see her, and he was the first to hold her. Of course, I couldn't hold her. So then they wrap her up. They wrap the baby up. They swaddle them, put the little cap on their head, and they bring them over to your face, and you can kiss them and cuddle with them and things like that. So while they're doing all that and getting the baby cleaned up and everything, they're basically closing you up and stitching you and all that. That part, I don't know how long it takes because I personally started feeling a little pain. I don't want to scare you guys. Just a little bit. I started feeling something, like it must have been wearing off a little. And I told the anesthesiologist I'm starting to feel a little something. So he gave me something once or twice in my IV to try to like maybe numb me a little bit more, but I still kind of felt something. And the doctor pressed down on my stomach and I felt like a sharp pain, and I was like, no, I'm feeling something. So he's like, don't worry about it. He gave me something and I was out. I mean, he just knocked me out completely. I woke up about an hour later or so in the recovery room, which was awesome because I didn't want to feel things. So then they woke me up in the recovery room about an hour or something later. They're basically checking your vitals, your blood pressure, your temperature, and they're checking the baby, measuring the baby and doing everything. And then at that point, they'll ask you if you want to breastfeed. And if you say yes, they'll put the baby right on you. You're gonna do like skin to skin, and then they'll put the baby right on you, and hopefully the baby latches on if you're gonna breastfeed or whatever you're gonna do. And then at that point, my husband went and got my parents, and they came in and they got to see her. My mom got to hold her and things like that. So it was amazing. And by then I was kind of like still drugged up, so I was like on another planet. But then from there, when you're all done with there and you're fine, then they take you into your hospital room. We had the hospital room where you're just private by yourself and the baby stays with you. So that was the best possible thing for me, especially after a C-section. It's a major surgery. I didn't want to be next to anybody. I wanted to be alone, So it was great. It was a great experience. Just make sure if you're going to do that, you have someone with you in the room that's going to be there to help you with the baby. Hey guys, sorry, my battery died. So I'm going to talk really fast just in case my camera shuts off again. So I think I was up to where the nurses come in the next day. They check your wound, they clean you up, they kind of just lift your gown and hose you down. I mean, that's really what they do. And they put a new little wee-wee pad, dog's wee-wee pad underneath you. And you feel like $1,000,000. Like, you don't care, you're not embarrassed. They clean you up and you feel fabulous. At this point, you still have the catheter, and now they're going to take it out. It just burns a little bit. It doesn't hurt too bad. They told me to just take a deep breath, and they just took it out. It really didn't hurt that bad. I was very nervous about it, but it really wasn't terrible. So after that, basically they just keep monitoring you. They offer you pain meds and this and that. Take the pain meds even though you're not in pain. Definitely take the pain meds. And the next day after your surgery, they're going to ask you to get up and walk. It's going to be very painful, but please force yourself to get out of bed. I didn't even wait for the nurse to come ask me to get up. I just decided to get up myself, and I was able to walk up and down the whole way. But you really need to take your time. I mean, even if you just walk like a foot or 2 feet to the bathroom, just walk as much as you can, because it will help the healing quicker and the pains that you're gonna get after. And I think it's a day or 2 after your surgery they'll let you shower, which is okay. You can't scrub the area, but the soap can kind of run down it. You know, my mom helped me. If you need help, ask someone, because it's really hard. And they basically give you these little mesh underwear to wear. They're really ugly, but they're very comfortable. I even took an extra pair home for the rest of my healing process, because they're amazing and comfortable. They're just like material, and you just put them on, and they're really comfy. Basically you could bleed for 4 to 6 weeks, but I heard after a C-section it's not as bad as if you had vaginal. So for me it really wasn't bad. So I'm trying to think what else to tell you guys. Now, the one thing I wasn't really prepared for were the gas pains. I guess air gets in there from your surgery when you're opened up, and the gas pains for me were so unbearable. When you're in the hospital, they give you like little gas pills like to chew and stuff like that. But I read online before your surgery, try to eat bland food, things that could reduce the gas. And when you're in the hospital, ask for a stool softener or some type of suppository so you can go to the bathroom. This sounds disgusting, I'm sorry, but even if you're scared to go, which you are because you're going to be in pain, they say it's better to go. So because you can be, you know, stopped up from all the medication and things like that. So I think the longer it takes for you to go, the worse it's going to be. And again, the more you walk around, it'll help with the gas pains. So not only are you dealing with the pain from your surgery, but the gas pains are just, some people get in their shoulder. I'd rather get it in my shoulder. I had it on the inside of like my incision, and it was bad. So you know, just try to take any gas drops or anything you can, and eat bland food. Or ask your doctor how to avoid that. I'm petrified about that, and I'm going to ask my doctor again, how do I lessen the pain from that, because that for me was the worst part of the entire thing. So I hope you don't have the experience I did, because it was pretty bad. And for me, by the time 2 weeks came, I felt a lot better. Once the first week passed, you know, you feel a little bit better, but by 2 weeks you feel way better. On the car ride home, you're going to feel some pain going over bumps. I was kind of holding myself up with the little handle thing. And if you're going to laugh or sneeze or anything like that, they say hold a pillow over your incision. It'll lessen the pain, because I did laugh one night and I was in so much pain. I went from laughing to crying. So you don't want that. And one last thing, that for me, my feet swelled up like balloons. Like they were balloons with toes. They were so big, they felt like they were going to tear when I walked. They were huge. If this happens, you know, check with your doctor, make sure it's normal for you. But my feet did swell, and it took weeks to go down. I'm just letting you know. That was something I wasn't really prepared for either. My feet were gigantic. But other than that, like I said, by the end of 2 weeks, you should feel a lot better than you did. I think that's the last thing. I took notes. So that was the last thing that I could really think of to tell you guys. But don't be that scared. You know, people do it every day. They say 1 out of 3 women have to get it, and I'm gonna have another one in January, so I'm mentally preparing from now. But congratulations on your baby, whether it's your first, your 5th, whatever. Congratulations. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down below in the comment section, and I will get right to that. and I have some new videos coming for you guys. Again, I have an eBay and things like that. If you want to check what I have for sale, I'm gonna put it down below. And just please like and subscribe and comment. So I hope this video helped you and made you feel a little better and more confident about what's to come. And thank you for stopping by, and I will see you guys in my next video. Ciao, Bellas!